Okay, everybody, welcome back. I hope at this point you've got your correcting pen and you have now completed A and B. I'm just going to read over it with you and maybe talk you through each one and why I chose what I did. Okay, so for number one, practice part A is on page 168. Number one, at the garage sale, I sold my dolls. Okay, so that's I. That's just our pronoun I right there is the subject pronoun. It's the subject of the sentence. It's always capitalized. It's just like that very first square that we started. Okay? Number two, my sister and I also sold some books and clothes. Again, I. Just like that first square, except the only difference was in this instance we put my sister in there also. Okay? But still, you would use I. Number three, Tina visited my sister and me at the garage sale. So this time we used me because it's coming after the action verb visited. Okay, that's why it's me and not I. Number four, Tina asked me about the blue bicycle in my garage. Again, asked is the action verb, so you're using me. Tina asked me about the blue bicycle in my garage. And number five, she had sold the bike to me last month. I'm using me there because it follows one of those words. Remember, it says if it's not an action verb, if it follows a word such as to, for, at, or from, you would still use me. So that's number five. Number six, will you sell my old bike back to me? Again, after to, so it's me. Number seven, my sister and I both want to keep the bike. I. And number eight, Tina gave me such a sad look. So that's after the action verb gave. So we use me. And number nine, I agreed to sell the bike back to Tina. I. And again, remember, if you're confused, say it out loud. Me agreed to sell the bike back to Tina. That just doesn't sound right, does it? So sometimes it really does help to just say them out loud. And number 10, Tina thanked me and rode off. Thanked is our action verb, so we use me. Tina thanked me. Okay, so that was part A. I hope you did pretty well there. If you didn't, you can go back and look at the ones you missed and think about why you missed that. Moving on to practice B. Same thing here. We're picking the word or words in the parentheses that correctly completes the sentence. Okay, number one, my brother Nate gave me a baseball 2 years ago. And it's me because it follows the action verb gave. Number two, Mom and I sold it to Mrs. Green at our garage sale. And remember here, the trick is you always put yourself after the other. That's when it says when you speak or write about another person and yourself. So your choices there were Mom and I or I and Mom. You would never say I and Mom. You would always put yourself, you name yourself after the other. So Mom and I. Number three, Nate got angry at me. Okay, we used me, and that follows the word at, which is on that second square on page 168. Number four, Mom and I felt terrible. It wouldn't be Mom and me felt terrible, because if you weren't talking about Mom and you would just say I felt terrible. So Mom and I felt terrible. Number five, I went over to Mrs. Green's house the next day. I. Number six, Mrs. Green looked at me sadly and explained what happened. Again, me comes after at. Number seven, my husband and I lost that ball playing with our dog. Number eight, Mr. Green and I have a baseball signed by a famous player. Again, I think these are some that if you just read them out loud, it makes sense. Number nine, Mrs. Green gave me the signed baseball and I put it on our table. Mrs. Green gave is the action verb, so you're using me. And number 10, Nate gave Mom and me a big smile. Okay, this one, it's Mom and me. Me comes after Mom because you're being polite and you're putting yourself after the other person. But I promise you, you will hear people out in day-to-day conversations who will say, Nate gave me and Mom a big smile. And you'll think to yourself, well, back in my grammar lesson, I learned that it's polite to put yourself after the other person. This is something that, like I said, you will hear it. You might say the wrong thing. You'll be corrected as you grow up. It's okay. There's still plenty of adults who cannot do this. But if you can remember that when you're writing about another person or speaking about another person, you always put yourself after them. So that's why it's Nate, gave, mom, and me. And it's me because gave, again, is an action verb. Okay? I hope you learned something here. It was good for me to review this because this is something that plenty of adults and kids of all ages have trouble with. So I hope that this helped, and I hope you guys are all doing great. And you can call me, Marco Polo me, text me, email me if you have any questions. Okay? Take care. Bye, guys.